Hi, everyone. I am Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times. This podcast is part of Our Stories, Our Power, a 6-week community journalism cohort that we co-taught with DeShawn of E3 Radio. Over the course of 6 weeks, we worked with a small cohort of emerging storytellers to teach them the fundamentals of community-centered journalism, while at the same time guiding them through the reporting process as they worked on their own community-centered stories. We are so grateful to Press Forward Chicago for making this program possible, and we're also thankful to Columbia College Chicago for hosting us on campus, partnering with us in this program, and making this recording possible. Now, I'm going to kick it off to DeShawn, who will be sitting one-on-one with each of our cohort members, asking them about their stories and what they gained through this experience. Enjoy!
Family, it's your favorite queer radio personality, DeShawn, and I am excited to be hosting the Our Stories, Our Power podcast. You're going to hear from our storytellers, just like Jake said, and each one has a unique perspective, a unique story, and I really cannot wait for you all to not only read them, but to watch and listen to their perspectives on these stories. We've been able to watch their journey, but this is actually really, really special. So our first journalist and storyteller is Patience. Patience, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
This is a good time.
Yeah.
We've been hanging out for 6 weeks now.
Yeah.
6 weeks. And tell the good people why you even applied to be a part of Our Stories, Our Power.
To be completely honest, I've been dying to work with both the Windy City Times and E3 for years now. Jake and I went to the same college and worked at the same newspaper, so I really admired him and the work he did, and just what both of you bring to queer and LGBT people in the city of Chicago. It's so my lane that I just was dying to work under you.
Man, that means a lot. I appreciate that. And I'm glad it brought you to us because you bring such a unique perspective. So tell the good people about your story.
Well, I am looking over, and what you'll be reading is about what LGBT wrestlers are doing in the city and where they're going to ascend their careers. It's kind of an underreported industry. I feel like I looked at so many places to try and find this story, and I couldn't see it reflected. As a fan and as someone that is in a lot of community with wrestlers and people that talk about professional wrestling, it's a beautiful art form, and I wanted to know where our queer brothers and sisters were going to excel. And so that's what you'll be reading about, and I'm really excited for everybody to read it.
Family, let me tell you, when Patience pitched this story, I was like, I don't think I've ever read anything about queer wrestling, ever. And as somebody who grew up watching WWF and WWE, The Undertaker is my favorite, hands down, period. It was like, this is really interesting, timely, and it made me curious to want to know more about this particular topic and how queer people are showing up in wrestling, because we know what the discourse is around the country around trans folks in sports, period. And so how are folks dealing and living, maybe even thriving, queer folks within wrestling? So I thought that was just a dope topic.
Yeah. And they're thriving.
Wow.
It's one thing that I found that was beautiful, because I've talked to people that are reporting on it. I got to talk to Brian Bell at Outsports, and they cover all of the industry of LGBT sports and what people are doing in sports. And I felt like I got to talk to wrestlers and people that report on it, like myself. And it was just so fun to talk to, and now they're all fans. They're interested. Everybody was also watching WWF and AEW and even TNA and NWA. They've all been at these programs and stuff. So it's they're thriving, and they're finding community within each other in queer promotions, in just independent promotions across the nation and in Chicago and in Illinois, all throughout and all the levels. They're finding that they can not only excel, that they will be accepted by promoters and the locker room, and then be stars. I got to talk to Nick at Freelance Wrestling. Their top star, Devin Monroe, is a very openly out and proud queer person. And it was so interesting to talk to Nick, because he's saying it didn't start this way, but it just so happened that they are the people that are most entertaining, that are coming in, and people want to see them over and over and over again.
I think that's incredible Now, you got to tell me, what's one thing that you have learned during your time in the journalism cohort?
Yeah, I learned a lot more about kind of how to ingratiate myself in the community and feel like can come back. I think that's something I struggled with because they don't teach you that fully when you're in class in school. They're like, oh, make sure you get in your sources, make sure you get in your story. But it's still that kind of twinge of like, we need to go in and get our story and then kind of pull back. And I couldn't find the balance even after I graduated. And so I think that being a part of the community and being like, I'm a fan, we're all in the same, we all want the best for this industry. How can I help provide that with the storytelling I'm doing, the information I'm providing, and feel like I can come back to them and build relationships, real relationships with these people was a great skill that I learned under you all.
I love that. And family, let me tell you why. There was a section of the course that dealt with extractive reporting and how we can avoid being extractive journalists in communities. And so the fact, come on, ingratiate, come on. I think that's beautiful. That's what you got out of it. Now, tell me one thing as we wrap up, one thing that you think may surprise folks when they read your story, or maybe one thing that you think is really special about your story.
I think people will be surprised at how quick the turnaround was with the cultural attitude toward women and people of color and queer people in wrestling. It only took a decade from the times that people were being called slurs in the ring to being celebrated for who they are. I think it's, especially since there's a long history of wrestling in this country, just how fast it turned around and how fast people are celebrated and exalted will just, it'll really give people, I think, hope that we can keep moving forward continuously.
I love this. I can't wait to read your story. Family, you know what you got to do, WindyCityTimes.com, to get all of these stories. Thank you, Patience.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's go. After hearing Patience, I know you all want to go check out their story, so just feel free to go do that, okay? But now I want to welcome Tyrus to the show. Tyrus, welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here.
Yes.
I'm so glad you're part of the cohort.
Me too.
Now, you had published work before coming into the cohort. So tell the good people why you wanted to continue learning.
I think journalism is just one of the core ways to get a message out there. One of the beautiful things about film, television, writing, podcasting is that the topics are endless. And I really love civic engagement. That's kind of what drives me. And so I wanted to continue to learn how to give back to my communities in whatever ways I want to give back to. And this time it just happened to be gun violence. My previous work was mental health, or before this. So, yeah.
Yeah. And tell us the connection to gun violence and why you wanted to tell this story in particular.
Yeah. So first of all, I know a lot of people that are victims of gun violence. I remember in high school, I think it was 2014, I was a sophomore. A guy named Deontay was killed during the summer. I was either I was a freshman going into my sophomore year, or I was a sophomore going into my junior year. And we actually had every class together. And so it was one of those things that was weird to know that this person was the same age as me and he died. And then years later, my brother in 2019, he was killed to gun violence. And so, and I also just know a lot of friends of friends, family members that have experienced it. And it's something that's not changing in this city or just around the world. And so I think it's something that should be, light should be shed upon it.
Absolutely. And family, if you're civically engaged like Tyrus, okay, you know that the mayor has shared the story that the rates are down. And I think part of the story is that one is still too many, right? And that gun violence still is impacting so many people in our communities. And so you decided not to take what I may consider a traditional approach to this story and maybe doing a profile of someone who was impacted.
Yeah.
But you wanted to talk about the healing.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Well, because I'm still healing. My mom is still healing. My family's still healing. Yeah. And some days we don't know. I know I'm not by myself when it comes to just not knowing. Some days I'm good. Today I'm good. Most days I'm actually good. But there are moments where I can look at a picture of him on my wall in my room and I'm oh. And then even on his birthday or my birthday, I always think about well, he died at 18. I'm 28, so that's a 10 year. 10 years ago, I don't know how I'm doing it. He died at 18. I'm sorry. I'm 28 now. So that means I've been able to experience going to college. I've been able to experience getting my driver's license. I've lived on my own for 8 years now. Jobs in the corporate world. I've been able to be on the news multiple times. I've been able to travel this country. And that's really something that he has not been able to do. And so one of the things that I always think about when I'm in those moments and when I'm trying to heal or I'm trying to find like a way to navigate my grief is thinking about the fact that I've been privileged enough to do so many things that he never probably even imagined. And so, yeah, I just know that there are a lot of people out there that needs support. So
Yeah. And what do you think is one thing that folks, when they read your story, they're going to say, wow, I didn't know that?
I think that the thing that shocked me is that people really do struggle to bury their loved ones, to pick themselves up financially afterward, because like, you know, people, they have to work, and a lot of times you have to take off work. And then when you lose a loved one, it's not like you take a week off and you go back. Some of them take a month off. And so I think the financial and people don't plan like life insurance, and they don't have it, you know, especially in our community. And I think I found a lot of families just are not prepared for that time, which, I mean, I guess you don't think about it, but it is something that you should prepare for. Luckily, my mom did prepare, so we didn't have to worry about that. So when that time did come, I don't even think I thought about the financial aspect of it, but I found that so many families don't have financial support and just don't plan for that time. And that was really shocking to me. So
yeah, and I'm so glad you got to talk to organizations, and not just the people, but the organizations who are helping folks heal to find those resources, right?
Yeah, and another thing too is the legal aspect. A lot of families don't have support to like actually find out what happened to their loved one. They don't have the strength to go to court, or they're so angry. Like it's so many things. We never found out what happened to my brother. We never even pushed it. I don't know why, but that aspect also is something that is challenging for families. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Your story is so important. I'm so glad you decided to tell it.
Yes.
We think about the moment of the impact, because that's what the news does. What bleeds is what leads.
Yeah.
That is the saying, right? And the practice. But there's so much life after that moment.
Yeah.
And there's so much grief after that moment, right? And so I'm so glad that you decided to focus on healing.
Yes.
And highlighting organizations and people, right, who are helping folks heal and get to those resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so important because there's so many families out there. And the organizations, I only highlighted two, and they are incredible. So it's way more.
What are those two? What are those two organizations?
Chicago Survivors and Block 24.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are plenty of them in Chicago that are doing great work. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now you want to read Tyrus' story too. I know you do, and we still have more to come, right?
Yes.
So Windy City Times, E3 Radio, tap in. Thank you, Tyrus.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is amazing. It's so fun.
Family, welcome back. I am excited to continue the conversations, okay? And this time, we have the one and only Melani with us.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. You looking good, smelling good, child.
Thank you. You too.
Snatched. I love it. Now, your story in particular is pretty special. And from the moment that you pitched it to us, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And you did a profile on Francis. And I would love for you to tell the good people about Francis.
Francis D'Alessio is a legendary transgender woman who also is a show queen, who has been performing at La Cueva for 35 years. And, you know, she has a great story to tell. I really loved what she had to share with me. And I wanted to focus on her and highlight her because I feel like a lot of the voices of Latina transgender women are lost or hidden or just not really told. So I feel like, you know, it's time to give these legendary queens who came before us their flowers. So I definitely felt that it's her turn, especially she's celebrating 35 years of being a show queen this year. Like, you know, that's pretty iconic.
Incredible, amazing.
Yes.
And when you pitched it, I just resonated with so much because I don't feel like I see a lot of Latina stories in Chicago. And the Latinx community is such a huge part of our culture, and the stories are not amplified enough. At Windy City Times, of course, we got In La Vida. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, go do that. But this is just such an important story to tell when we think about especially what's happening right now with immigration and with ICE. You know, we must uplift and protect, right,
Exactly.
the Latinx community here in Chicago. And so uplifting Frances, what was the most special part for you?
I feel like the most special part was actually doing the interview on her, like going to her home and sitting down and, you know, like she made me feel very welcome, but even the whole interview itself was it felt like we were having a conversation, you know, and I've known her for many years and I look up to her a lot. So, you know, it was an honor even sitting there in her living room where her doggies too, they were there. And just, you know, talking about her story and her different experiences growing up here in Chicago and living her life. So yeah, it was really empowering. Yeah.
And what I think also is special about your story, not just the fact that you're profiling Frances, but this is community journalism. Like this is the point of this cohort, is to teach community journalism. And you might be the most entrenched in particular in this community. You perform, right? You've known Frances for many years. You perform at La Cueva. You're Melani, right? And you're covering somebody who you admire.
Yes.
Like this is what community journalism looks like in action. And you're doing it with this story. Now, I know it's a profile piece, but you're also are you talking to other people who are connected to Frances as part of the story?
Yeah, I'm actually talking to one of the show queens that have been there for many decades at La Cueva, and also to one of her trans daughters, who's also a cast member at La Cueva. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that I focus on people who are close to her, work with her, and have a real connection with her.
What do you think people are going to be most surprised about when they read your story?
Of her resilience. Of her resilience. And, you know, one thing that really stood out about her that really didn't take me off guard, didn't surprise me, but it really made me like say, wow, is the fact that she spoke a lot about respect. Respect for herself, for the community. You know, it was a conversation where she focused on talking about respect, and that is the reason why she's lasted so long in this business. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, drag in Chicago has definitely grown and expanded, and there's so many types of drags. There's so many performers nowadays versus like when she first started versus when it was when I first started. You know, a lot has changed. So for her to still being able to getting booked, still being a cast member, still being loved by the audience, and her explaining that it's all about having that respect. So that really like it inspired me. Like, okay, you know, you're right. You know, because sometimes we focus too much on the sadness, on the drama, on the negative things in our communities. But with her story, she didn't give me that vibe. She didn't be like, she wasn't like, oh, this is my sad story, or this is, you know, what happened to me. You know, she spoke about respect, about love, and, you know, about building community.
And isn't that how we survive?
Exactly.
That's exactly how we survive. Family, I'm just telling you right now, just block off about 5 hours of your day, okay? And just get through every single one of these stories. Because as you can tell, each is so unique and so important. I can't wait to read about Frances, because I know you started with 1,400 words. You had a lot to say, okay?
I did.
Had a lot to say.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see the final piece. Thank you, Melani.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned, family. We only halfway through, okay? There's more to come. Family, are you ready for more stories? I heard you. I know you said yes, because they're so good. And so now I want to welcome Jordan, or J. Rowe, to the podcast.
Yes, my name is J. Rowe, Jordan J. Rowe Ordonez, dancer, artist. I also identify as an arts and culture organizer, and now developing journalist.
Come on, developing journalist.
Yeah.
This is what it's about. Why did you want to... You're everything you just said.
Yes.
And now developing journalists. Why did you want to become a journalist and a storyteller?
Yeah. I think as a hobby, I write poetry. And I have a blog for myself just as a reflection and like a therapy tool. But then I've always been really interested in the skill of asking questions. I have a few goal verbs, and one of them is to make meaningful connections and to be learning. And part of that is the skill of asking questions and getting to know people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and impacting my community is one of my goal verbs too, and this is one way that I can do that while I'm also kind of aging, just trying to grow my family. Yeah, it's another thing that I can do to impact the street dance community that I'm a part of.
I love that. And now you got to tell the good people about your story.
Yes, I started when a few of my friends in house dance, house music, stayed on my couch because they either weren't able to afford to rent another apartment or renew their lease, and they needed some transition places, and so they stayed on my couch. And I saw that like house music is one of Chicago's like most prominent, and at least for me, like one of the most important cultural exports to this to the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even saw one time that there was a headline that said David Guetta is the godfather of house, and I'm like, what?
Those sound like fighting words.
Yeah, exactly. but like great, like spread it, share the love. But some of the artists and dancers and cultural contributors here aren't able to keep a roof over their head. And I wanted to learn more about it. And I wanted to learn, has this been a trend? Is this a new thing in house? And it's not.
And tell us about the people that you got to talk to as part of your story.
Yeah, I got to talk to legendary pioneering DJ, house music historian Lori Branch. Yeah. Thanks to you.
I'm glad she was able to connect.
Yes, thanks to you. And she was telling me about when she was in her 20s in the 90s. She got kicked out of her house after coming out, or after being forced out as gay. And she was couch surfing. Sisters, friends, other places. Yeah, and it wasn't new. And she even told me that even today, prominent DJs, well-known DJs she knows personally, have struggled with housing instability too. So it's not new. And to me, like I talked to a whole bunch of other service organizations talking about solutions and what I can do about it and what other communities are doing. Like the ballroom and Vogue scene does really a good job of connecting resources and whatever their needs are to their community. And I wanted to see what I could do with this reporting and kind of pass along the information and tell the stories.
And what do you think folks will learn when they read your story?
Yeah, I think because this story is focused just on the stories of my friend who asked to be anonymous, and Lori's story, and then a few other sources sprinkled in. And so it's about their story. And I think that, or I hope that people that read this, whether it's, another younger developing house artist or someone at Lori Branch's caliber or in between, that they will not feel the shame or even to ask for help. So to know that they're not alone. And eventually what I would like to do is I would like to pitch Jake to a follow-up story to to show more of the resources that are available and what can be done about it.
I love that. And this is the epitome of community journalism.
Mm-hmm.
You are entrenched in the house music scene here in Chicago. And so reporting on your community while living and working within your community and wanting it to be better for those who make it amazing when all of us go to the club, okay, and dance and party and think back on the times we was in the club, dance in the house, right? And wanting to make that even better.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yes. I was just at Smart Bar the other weekend. Louis Vega came in from New York, I think. And it was amazing. There were so many different generations in that room, just visually. And yeah, one of the things that Lori and my friend talked about was like the power of the community.
Yeah.
And how even though they were struggling, there was a protective force, Lori Branch said, around it, which was the house community and her close friends in it. Because she was like, yeah, looking back, I was, I should have been afraid of like bad things happening.
Yeah.
And so she said there was this protective force around her with her community that she leaned on, and then she looks back and says, oh, wow, yeah, that was a tough time, but I got through it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, J-Ro. Thank you for wanting to tell these stories.
Thank you for having me.
Family, I'm telling you, they're good. They're all good. Just block the calendar off when these stories drop, okay? Because you're not only going to learn something, you're going to feel inspired to maybe want to do something. So thanks again, J-Ro.
Thank you.
Family, I hope y'all have been enjoying this. I have. I mean, I've been with these journalists, emerging journalists and storytellers for 6 weeks. And hearing their reflections have just made this experience even sweeter for me. And so I'm glad that we get to share it with you, okay? So we got our next journalist and storyteller, Rahmya, is with us. What's going on?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. Now you got to tell the good people what your story is about.
Okay. So my story is about Black Sapphic Spaces in Chicago. I specifically leaned into like the party like aspect a little bit, just because I moved to Chicago and I am recently like came out as a lesbian, and I was like, okay, like my roommates are here, where are we partying? And they were like, up north, and I was like, okay, but we live like in the South, so I see us, where are we? And they're like, up north. I was like, okay, that can't be all. Like, so I was like, I know we're out here because I see us every single day. So I was just trying to find what we were doing, if that makes sense.
And what did you find out?
I found out that we are out here. We are here.
Yeah.
We're all over the place. In a lot of my interviews, I like asked about like the geographical like separation, and everyone's like, yes, like we have to start up north, make the money, and be able to expand to the South to where we're at, because the North is a lot more financially fluid typically, but there is definitely a push to go South and West. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting, and it's important, right? The history of Black, queer Chicagoans on the South and West sides of Chicago is rich, and there has been generational disinvestment from those neighborhoods, right? And so when we got folks coming into the city like yourself, and then you come out and you like, where are my people? It can be really hard to find your people in the city.
Yeah, because like I live in Hyde Park, and like my coworkers are queer, my roommates are queer, and we're all like Black and brown. So the queer Black and brown community exists. And we are located in this, like, we're in the places that we're working, we're living. And, like, one of my close friends, he lives in Pilsen. You're going up to, like, Boys Town every, like, Friday, Saturday night. Like, there has to be more stuff around. And I found that there is, but there isn't.
Yeah.
But there is, people are working on it. So that makes me very happy.
Indeed. Tell us about who you talk to.
Okay. I talk to so many people. So I talked to Renata from Nobody's Darling. Very, very lovely woman. I'm so glad she had the time because, once again, she's so busy.
We support nobody's darling around here, okay?
We do.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to run up and grab photos like I wanted, but I spoke to her. Most recently, I talked to DJ Cashera.
Cash.
If you're watching this, I love you.
I love it.
But yeah,
Yes.
she's great. And then I talked to Selena, who runs Starlight Sapphic Shy.
Okay.
Which is let me get this right. I want to say she promotes, but also she collaborates with other like Sapphic organizations. Oh, I spoke to Winter, who's the new hostess of Garden of Eden. Black trans woman. Love that girl. Once again, if you're seeing this, let's be besties.
All right. Let's be besties. Yes. Okay.
And then I talked to Fajera, who is she creates a monthly, like weekly updated monthly calendar on Sapphic events. So anything from craft nights, she hosts wine downs, and she hosts wine downs, and she essentially aggregates all of these different Sapphic events, and she posts them to be like public so that people who are looking for them can find them.
I love all of this. Your story is going to be so rich for so many people. What did you learn about your own community in this particular reporting?
I learned that in the best way, everyone's doing it for the girls.
Okay.
We're just all trying to find, it seems like we're all trying to find each other. And I think that's beautiful because in such, like, do you ever, like, walk outside and, like, have your, like, little gay bubble burst? And you're like, I live in this cute little Barbie world of gay people, and like people just want to be cute and have fun, and like obviously they're doing the work for their communities in different ways.
Sure.
And it's so like progressive that when you like step outside of that and you remember that like everybody else exists, you're like, whoa. So that's what I love. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's trying to better the community and like enrich it and like create that community essentially where there's not some.
Yeah. Sacred spaces like that, those bubbles, man, they're priceless.
Yeah.
They're priceless. And they're also creating a world where we can be a little braver when we step outside of those bubbles, right? So I love this story. Family, you're going to learn a lot about a lot of things you probably didn't even know existed for Black lesbians in Sapphic spaces here in the city. And it's because you reported on it. Let's go.
I love that.
I love it. Family, we got one more storyteller to go, so stay close. Let's go. And now we're with Jasmine, our last storyteller of the podcast. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I am so happy you decided to report about something that's so personal to you. So let's talk about it. Tell the good people what your story is all about.
So my story is about something that people really don't think about, but it's very much needed. It's bathrooms, the accessibility of all gender bathrooms, how they are important to community, not just for non-binary or transgender students or community members, but just for everyday individuals. You know, it could be a menstruation problem. It could be I need to chill down before a big test or exam, or just even childcare. So.
Yeah, and you wanted to specifically report about it at the school that you actually attend.
Yeah, I attend Northeastern Illinois University between Albany Park and North Park.
Yeah, and tell me why, actually tell everybody, not just me, but tell the good people why you wanted to talk about bathrooms at NEIU and what problem you saw that existed that you want to see changed.
Yeah, absolutely. So our university currently right now, we have about 8 different campuses. They're not conjointed or joined in one building, and so they're pretty much spread out. So because of that, there's different accessibility issues. You know, we do have an issue with elevators just not functioning, and so that already reduces some of the accessibility for some bathrooms. And on top of that, we do have a Pride Alliance club there as well. And of course, some students do align themselves with non-binary or transgender or just in between. And, you know, it's all about being comfortable using the washroom. And again, like we do have evening classes. So Like if you're there all day, you need to use the washroom.
Yeah. And so how accessible are these bathrooms?
Right. So for my article, I actually used University of Illinois Chicago. They did an interactive map, and I kind of used their scoring system to really compare it to our university currently as is. And I gotta say, there are bathrooms, but they're pretty much hidden. Unless you know individuals that can lead you to those bathrooms, you're really on a search for them. So it's not as visible as students and community members would want them to be.
And what do you hope comes out of your story?
Right. I just hope there's more signage, that there's a map, whether that's shared internally to students. I mean, I think that would be the best outcome. Like, I understand there's a lot of administration pressure going around to different universities for different reasons. I know that this could be an additional stress for the university, but overall, I think a map will benefit the community there.
Absolutely. And we know all of the anti-trans bathroom bills that have been circulating around this country for the last 4 or 5 years. And so there's so much pressure, especially in this particular climate. And it's still an important topic because, child, going to the bathroom is just so simple and fundamental.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Now tell me, what did you enjoy most about the journalism cohort?
I enjoyed more about learning how to not be a parachute reporter. I've always heard not to be it, but I've never heard about, like, these are the ways that you talk to the community, engage with the community, to just come in and pop in and go back out. I actually reached out to the community again and just say, like, do you feel comfortable me attaching this to the group? And, like, they explained again to me, like, it's more of an accessibility issue. It's more like it's a beneficial issue that could be resolved for everyone to benefit from. And that really opened my eyes and allowed me to, again, explore other universities and how they are able to tackle this issue, even though it's not really an issue.
It's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not. And I really appreciate you saying that. You're not the first person to say that is the one lesson that really stands out to you, is about being a parachute, what it means to be a non-extractive journalist in our communities. And it is so incredibly important. And it's challenging to report on the communities in which you're a part of. And it's also important work because you also understand it so intimately.
Yeah, exactly. I am a LGBT member, and so I have been covering issues that have been affecting the community on campus. And so, again, I try to highlight both the issues, but again, like any resources that are there, I also want to highlight that as well. I know last year, the Career Development Center actually put out information and resources on how to be out in the work field, or like what are some of the reasons why you shouldn't be out, or what does that look like. Let's bring in some members that are doing this. Let's hear experiences from our alumni, from professionals out in the field. And again, like, I want to highlight both the resources that are there on campus, but as well as, like, asking administration to listen to community as well.
Absolutely. And that is one of the many jobs that a good journalist will do. Thanks, Jasmine.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thanks for being here. And family, thank you for tuning in to the Our Stories, Our Power podcast. I'm your host, Anna DeShawn, your favorite queer radio personality. And don't forget, when you want to read these stories, when you want to watch this podcast and tap in, you got to visit windycitytimes.com or e3radio.fm. Now let's take it back to Jake.
Thanks again for listening to Our Stories, Our Power. This program is rooted in the belief that the people closest to a community are the ones who are most equipped to tell that community's stories. We are so proud of the work that our cohort has completed throughout this program, and we cannot wait to see how they continue to grow as journalists and storytellers in their communities. We'd like to say thank you again to Press Forward Chicago and Columbia College Chicago for making this program possible. To learn more about Windy City Times, E3 Radio, or get in touch to know how you can support the future of this program, visit windycitytimes.com. Thanks again for tuning in.